He didn't give people much to work with when he said, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see, won't we? All right, so right now we welcome in Marcus Spears. He joins us. And hey, Marcus, how are you?
What's up, Roz? How you living?
I'm living good. I like the good vibes only sign, bringing that to the morning. I'll start with you, Han.
Absolutely.
Will Rodgers play in Green Bay in 2021?
I think he will. And in fact, what you said there, when you said, that he didn't give us much, I think he gives us a lot. I think it's the matter of how you interpret it, the little breadcrumbs he puts out there. I mean, this is petty. This is like Richard Petty, the king of all petty. Like, he is going to that extreme where he just leaves little passive-aggressive comments out there, making it clear to guys like Tom Brady, even, Brian Anderson of Turner and others. Yeah, we could talk about it. Yeah, we could joke about it because it's funny. And I like watching how everybody reacts to all the little things that I say about this whole situation. But in the end, while it does look like he's Angela Bassett and waiting to exhale, as the Mercedes burns behind her walking away, the Packers being, of course, the Mercedes burning.
I like that reference.
He is really a guy that does want to get back in that Mercedes or get back in that house eventually because he's a competitor. He's the best at what he does. And he's got a team that, despite all the complaints about what's around him, was good enough to be that close to the Super Bowl. In fact, they probably would have won the Super Bowl if they got there knowing that Kansas City was compromised with that offensive line. So does he really want to just take an entire year and walk away and eventually only thing they're talking about is instead of just saying, go Pack, they're saying, hey, Aaron, go Pack. We're done with you. In Green Bay, that's your legacy that you're leaving there? I'm not sure he's willing to wait a whole season, but I love the way he's playing this. Make him squirm, make him burn, make him beg you to come back.
No, he's done in Green Bay. We will not see him in a Green Bay Packer uniform. After that championship game, that was the last time that Aaron Rodgers will put that Green Bay uniform on. And I say this because when you think about it, he hasn't been there all offseason. We're about 2 weeks away, 13 days, I believe, from the start of a first training camp. So he hasn't been throwing with his receivers. He's been on basically a tour of having fun, whether it's in Hawaii, playing golf, relaxing with his girlfriend, just enjoying life. And on top of that, the people that he really have a problem with inside that building, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to all of a sudden be abruptly fired in the next couple weeks so that Aaron Rodgers can get his way. And quite frankly, Aaron Rodgers doesn't care. Aaron Rodgers said, agent is David Dunn. You know who David Dunn represented prior to that? Carson Palmer. And what did Carson Palmer do? He sat out. He eventually got traded. And I know people think about the money aspect of it. Aaron Rodgers don't care about the money right now. All Aaron Rodgers care about is being right. Watching the Green Bay Packers explode, basically, hitting the detonator, because I didn't get what I asked you for a long time ago. So flying in on private jets, telling me how much you want me, oh my God, please come play for us, we love you, all of those sort of things. And then on top of that, you leaving breadcrumbs, talking negative in front of people about me, saying little slick remarks about me, all that sort of stuff is in the back of his mind, no matter what anybody says. And then for the last caveat, Marcus Spears knows this. We know who's behind us. We know the players that back us up and what they look like. And he knows that Jordan Love is not ready to play, and he's seen Blake Bortles a million times. So what is it that he wants? He wants it to crumble completely. So go ahead and play one of those two quarterbacks while I just sit and laugh until y'all decide to trade me.
No doubt, Key, I'm with you. And I see Hans still on that wishful thinking list with everybody else. They've been wishful thinking for the last 2 years. I said this a year ago, that Aaron Rodgers would want to exit Green Bay. Number one, because of the disrespect that they've shown him. And I agree. Look, I'm not in that same class of people that think the Green Bay Packers have done everything absolutely wrong. They've ended up in the NFC Championship 3 other times outside of winning the Super Bowl. They built a nice team. When the defense needed to be addressed, they addressed the defense. But there comes a point in every one of these guys' careers, especially the great ones, where we don't like to think about, well, I don't know if they're going to leave the team they've been playing for. Green Bay has firsthand experience with that, with Brett Favre. And I know that was a different situation, but nobody believed that Brett Favre would play quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings or the New York Jets. Nobody thought that that would happen. We all figured, the wishful thinkers were like, he'll figure it out in Green Bay and Brett Favre relationship, and they've been there together for so long, it'll work out. but they had Aaron Rodgers waiting in the wings. They didn't know what Aaron Rodgers was, but they knew they drafted a quarterback in the first round. And then you think about both sides, right? Because, look, we've talked about Aaron Rodgers and how bad Green Bay has disrespected Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is at the point now where he's disrespected Green Bay, because they are trying to plan and go forward with a season not knowing if the best quarterback in the NFL is going to come back and play for them, who's been absent in a lot of important things when you're trying to go for a Super Bowl. I keep hearing everybody with these optimistic thoughts talk about, well, they're a Super Bowl team and they have a chance, and Aaron Rodgers understand that. Y'all don't think Aaron Rodgers understood that before he started this damn drama and this saga that we watching right now? We keep acting like this is brand new. This is not new. Aaron Rodgers knows everything that Alan Hahn and all of the optimists are saying about him coming back to Green Bay. I don't believe it's happening. I've been saying it for a long time, so I'm with you, Key. And Alan, I hate for the first time for us to be on TV together, we got to go back and forth and I got to fight you. But this optimism, I legitimately don't know where it comes from, unless y'all want to continue to be on this roller coaster with Aaron Rodgers, with the breadcrumbs and the vague saying and all of that. What I do know is, from a physical presence, Aaron Rodgers has not had anything to do with the Green Bay Packers, and the Green Bay Packers seemingly have been begging for him to come back, and ain't a damn thing changed.
Swagoo, if I could quote Jerry Maguire, you say we're fighting, I say we're finally talking, because this is something we have to discuss. You mentioned emotion. You mentioned things like, I hope. You got me. Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm the optimist. I always want to believe that something good's going to come out of this. But hope is an emotion. You know what else is an emotion? Spite. And Aaron Rodgers is really good at that. You know what else is an emotion? Love.
Good point.
And Aaron Rodgers loves football, but he loves him some him. And he loves to be the guy that is MVP. He loves to be the guy that's the best on the field. He loves to be that, if I can quote a guy from this show, a bad man. And that's what he likes to be, loves to be. And when we get to October and the Packers are 0-5 and Jordan Love looks exactly like we all expect Jordan Love to look like, and the Packers fans are screaming and crying and blaming it all, and Mark Murphy and everybody else doing their own hey, well, we do have a QB1. He's just not here. So we got to play this guy. That kind of stuff is going to start creeping in, which is why I feel like the play is to take this all the way to the end, make him squirm to the end, and then show up, be the conquering hero and say, okay, now that you know, don't pull this crap again with me. Do what I say, involve me in decisions, or else I'm walking when this contract is over, and then you really got to deal with what's left after I'm gone.
Okay, you make a great point about emotion, right? And let's take this into the relationship element. Hon, if you were going through something with your significant other and y'all were having conversations, but you were sleeping downstairs on the couch, or she put you on the sofa, eventually you think you're going to make your way back to the bed, right? And things are going to be fixed. But when they leave the house and they don't show up night after night after night, what message should you take? That's what Aaron Rodgers has done. Aaron Rodgers ain't showed up to OTAs. He ain't showed up to minicamp. And guys like you keep talking about a Super Bowl run, and he's not preparing for it. So unless you're giving him the benefit of the doubt that he gonna show up, which from a playing standpoint, I agree. He can show up and be as good as any other quarterback. But I remember 2 years ago, a lot of NFL pundits, a lot of QB gurus getting on here saying Aaron Rodgers don't look like himself. It looks like the Green Bay Packers made the right decision taking a quarterback. And then he comes back and follow that up by an MVP season. So for me, when you talk about emotion and spite and optimism, I agree. I live on those principles too until you show me your actions. You're not going to keep not showing up at home, making me wonder where you are, and we going to continue this relationship. So look, for all of the guys out there or all of the ladies that continues to have this optimism, if your people ain't coming home at night and they keep telling you they don't want to come home, at some point you need to take a clue and start looking for another beau or another lady, or figure out how you're going to do this by yourself.
Go ahead. I want you to read that for Alan Hahn.
He's singing Tony Braxton to me now.
Keyshawn just passed me a meme. It says, creating relationship drama is all fun and games until he actually decides to move on.
Yes, that would be correct, Alan Hahn. And so when you think about it, all the drama that the Green Bay Packers have created, starting with Jordan Love to this point where we are now, that man done checked out. Yes, he would love to win another Super Bowl for the Green Bay Packers. But guess what? As I said before, Alan, Murphy's not leaving. Brian Gutekunst isn't going anywhere. They're still in the building.